Hello, good evening and welcome to ITV News. This is Friday night's calendar.
And here are tonight's main stories.
A plane crash claims the life of a man in his 20s. It happened near Thirsk, with people nearby being asked to avoid the area. We'll have the very latest from the scene, also tonight.
Teachers strike for the second time this week. Is a deal over pay and school funding getting any closer?
James sends it in towards Daly again. At the double for Rachel Daly.
We sit down with the Yorkshire Lionesses as they head down under to try and do the double and add the World Cup to their trophy cabinet. And
we've got to get there first.
I can't do that! You want to stop for a little lie down?
Why one of Hollywood's favourite heroes is saving the day in North Yorkshire.
I think to a certain extent you can say that Indiana Jones has come to our rescue, probably not in the style that he normally would.
Well, first tonight, a man in his 20s has died after a plane crashed in North Yorkshire last night. The light aircraft came down in a field not far from Bagby Airfield near Thirsk. An
air accident investigation is now underway. Police say no one else was thought to be on board. Julia Breen has been at the scene.
This, the scene of devastation after last night's fatal plane crash. Around 8 p.m, the light aircraft narrowly missed this house and plummeted into the fields behind, bursting into flames. Disbelief among those living nearby who saw the crash.
I was walking my dog down my beck, and then I saw a plane come over. It flew over my head. It sounded like a big pop and then fire. And then I sort of looked and saw the smoke, big black smoke. And I was thinking, was that plane? And then I rung my mum, who was at the farm, and I said, Mum, I think the plane's just crashed.
James's father, Robin, farms just a few fields away and saw the flames.
There was a raging fire, looks like a fuel fire, and it was covering, I don't know, quarter of an acre or so, I would have thought. I haven't seen anything like as big a fire as that, I don't think.
The plane crashed close to Bagby Airfield, just a couple of miles south of Thirsk, but police weren't able to confirm if it was heading there. Parts of the broken plane could be seen close to the crash site today. Air accident investigators also there, working out exactly how this tragedy happened. In the last few minutes we have seen some heavy lifting equipment going in, so it looks like they might be trying to salvage part of that plane from the field tonight. Today the Air Accidents Investigation Branch told us that they'd launched an investigation into a fatal accident involving a twin-engine light aircraft which occurred yesterday near Bagby Airfield. A team of inspectors arrived on site this morning to gather evidence and to begin an investigation. Now, we were told by witnesses that police were on this scene very quickly last night as that fire raged. The man's family is being supported by a team of specially trained officers, and it's hoped that they will get some answers to what happened here in the coming days.
In other news now, teachers in our region walked out of the classroom again today. They say the standoff with the government over pay and funding for education means they're having to cut corners in school and when they get home.
Well, Brighouse High School was among those which had to close to most pupils as teachers threatened their action could escalate after the summer holidays. Teachers there say they operate on far fewer staff as their budget is squeezed.
Katie Oscroft spoke to striking staff at a rally in Halifax.
We are continuing this fight to save education.
It's the last school strike of the year, but this is no end-of-term party. Teachers say this isn't just about their pay, but also about the problems in schools caused by lack of money. Hazel says transformations promised at her school long ago haven't happened.
Some of the rooms are out of use because of leaking from the roof and things, and it's the money that's having to be invested in just patching up jobs.
We're really aware of, photocopying costs, glue sticks, all the basic things that you need as a practitioner to be able to do your job. It can put pressure on things that you want to do to enrich children's lives.
But today those young children were with their parents struggling to get childcare on strike days.
My friend, she's had to cancel 2 days' work this week because she just can't get the childcare.
The parents, it is hard for them to try and find someone to look after her, isn't there?
A 4.3% pay offer has been turned down. There are rumours that an independent pay review body will suggest 6.5% acceptable to the unions, but no guarantees the government will agree to it.
Most people are struggling because of the cost of living challenges. So if we can bear down on inflation, reduce our debt, grow the economy, then things will be a lot easier.
But Alexis says in her career it's got harder, not easier, to manage on a teacher's wage.
I've been teaching at Brighouse High for 15 years now, so I think for me I can see a big difference in how that's affected my wage in real terms. Now I have gone part-time recently because I've got small children, but I have actually had to apply to go back to full-time. We just can't afford to not have me working full-time.
The message at this rally could spell more disruption for pupils and parents, as all 4 teaching unions are considering coordinating their action during the autumn term. Katie Oscroft, ITV News, Halifax.
Well, still to come on the programme before 6:30.
It's always time for a 99, but it was ice cream for breakfast this morning with highs up to 20 Celsius by 10 a.m. Maybe not ice cream weather as we head into tomorrow, but I'll have all the detail a little later on.
And join me later in the programme to find out how Indiana Jones himself is helping to save the day for one of our region's best loved heritage railways.
Now, this might sound like a bit of a daft question, but if you're driving down the road and you see blue lights heading towards you or in your rear view mirror, do you actually know what to do?
Do you know what? A lot of people panic, I think, and so not everyone does. And stopping in the middle of the road could actually make it harder for an emergency vehicle to get through.
And that's why safety campaigners are trying to educate drivers on what actions they really should take, as James Webster reports.
The sight and sound that means there is an emergency. But what do you do as a driver when you see the blue lights? We've been asking people in Maltby.
I stop as quick as I can as soon as I see them, pull over, but some people don't. Some people just keep going.
I always look at road, pull in to one side and let them pass.
I think it's just common knowledge for everyone, just move out way for them, but as long as it's safe.
So left at the lights, please.
All police, ambulance and fire service drivers, such as these from Humberside Fire and Rescue, are specially trained.
That's good speed through there, nice one.
Part of that is learning how to deal with other motorists' reactions, like here on the streets of Hull, which can, at times, slow down emergency vehicles.
The public do their absolute utmost to get out of the way, but sometimes they do get in the way. So that'll be things like when there's a centre island and they don't quite pull over enough. So the gap they're creating, it's not a big enough corridor to get the vehicle through.
Some people freeze, some people mount curbs, some people will just be as helpful as they can, but people inadvertently will make judgment calls that will get in your way even though they're trying to do the best for you.
Often there'll be more than one emergency vehicle coming. Listen for different sirens and look all around before moving off.
That's why they want drivers to consider how they'd react to blue lights.
If you're already at the junction, be patient and wait for it to come past.
There are tips in this series of social media videos, such as keeping to the left, opening up gaps in traffic, and when to stop to let vehicles pass, and when it's better to keep moving.
Nobody deliberately goes out their way to cause an issue for an emergency driver or an emergency vehicle, but it's the way that you offer that help can mean the difference between a 5-minute journey or a 10-minute journey for that emergency vehicle.
It is all advice which these crew members say can make a significant difference to response times.
You do get a sense from them by their vehicle position. We talk about body language with the vehicles. We put our truck where we want to be to tell them where we want them to go. So if we want them to move to the left, we'll go to the right-hand side, and hopefully they will then move to the left.
Well, a lot of people usually think, right, I'm going to move over, and we need them to do more, think about where they're actually going to stop, or if they're flowing, have we got the capacity to pass them safely. So it's all about our drivers been trained to react to that, and hopefully that the public will deal with us properly.
Safety campaigners hope this advice could help 999 crews get to jobs quicker and ultimately save lives. James Webster, ITV News, Hull.
And who can forget those scenes down at Wembley last summer when thousands roared on the Lionesses to success at the European Championships? Well, England's women footballers have landed in Australia this morning ahead of the World Cup, which begins in less than 2 weeks' time. Amongst the travelling party are 5 players from our region, and before they left, I managed to catch up with them at the home of England football, St George's Park. It was the moment the nation fell in love with the Lionesses, and a new generation was inspired. Now, 12 months on from that Euro success on home soil, these players are stepping back into the spotlight for a World Cup down under. Amongst them, 5 players from the Calendar region, including the new leader of the Pride, Millie Bright.
There's nothing that's a bigger honour really than, you know, leading your team out to, you know, a major tournament, a World Cup, the biggest stage in football. So yeah, it's a huge honour.
If you go back a few years and tell that little girl growing up in Kilmarsh that she'd captain England at a World Cup one day, what do you think she'd say?
Yeah, I'd probably giggle. To be fair, one of my friends, he did tell me that. He said one day, and I was like, no, don't be so silly. And I literally laughed in his face. And then he obviously texted me when I knew, and I was like, oh, OK. Yeah, I'll give you that one. Stepping into the unknown will be 3 players from South Yorkshire playing at their first World Cup. Sheffield pair Ellie Roebuck and Esme Morgan, and Barnsley's Beth England, who 4 years ago was at the last World Cup in France as a fan.
It's a bit mad to think a few years later I'm actually going to be involved in my first World Cup. So I'm so excited to get going, and yeah, I'm not looking forward to the flight, but I'm excited once we're out there and we start the tournament.
I'm really excited to just get there now. I think it's been a bit of a wait. Obviously we're on prep camp now, and I think we're all very eager to get going.
When I got the call, I just felt such joy and such happiness that, yeah, I'm just so excited. It's such a cliche, but it's something that you always aspire to do and think about and have in your mind. So for it to be coming true is just amazing.
Cutting through again,
Even without last summer's player of the tournament, Beth Mead from Whitby, who's injured, England are second favourites behind the USA to win the World Cup.
As James sends it in towards Daly again.
Harrogate's Rachel Daly's expected to start in place of Mead up front after top scoring for Aston Villa in the Women's Super League last season with 22 goals.
It's a new team, it's not the same team as last year, a lot's changed. The talent is still phenomenally high. The competition every day in training is such a high level. So, yeah, I think we're just going to take it game by game, and, yeah, we know what we need to do.
England kick off their World Cup campaign against Haiti 2 weeks on Saturday. They hope it's the start of another summer to remember. Now the World Para-Athletics Championships get underway in Paris tomorrow with Hannah Cockcroft, of course, one of the favourites to return with a medal. The 12-time world champion from Halifax has been in blistering form this season, having already broken 6 world records. Undoubtedly she'll be one to beat out on the track, but she takes all the pressure in her stride.
It's definitely harder being at the front of the pack and being the one that is, I guess, breaking new ground and showing the others what's possible. So I'm always being hunted. There's always people chasing me down, but you've just got to switch to the headspace and thrive off that. And yeah, I just train with people chasing me and hope that it's enough.
I was going to say good luck to Hannah there, but I think we need to wish good luck to all those competing against Hannah, don't we? They'll definitely need it.
Yeah, they will do. Yeah. She's a force to be reckoned with, isn't she? Is. Thanks, Chris.
Well, we saw the sunny scenes up at Headingley before, and it's not just those cricket fans who've been out and enjoying the sunshine. A few of us have been able to do that, but guess what? Before the rain comes.
Kerry will be here in just a moment, actually, to let you know all about that. But the great outdoors can also mean the threat of an encounter with wasps.
Yes, they're arguably our least favourite insect. I don't know who wrote that, but they are. Experts say, though, they're actually a vital part of our ecosystem, and we should learn not to fear them, but to love them, as Kevin Ashford has been finding out.
It's fair to say that wasps have a bit of an image problem. Most of our experiences of them is a buzzing menace with the potential of a nasty sting.
Well, love them or hate them, there's no denying wasps are part of the British summer. But what are they good for? Well, I am going to ask an expert, as well as get up close and personal to those little creatures.
Professor Sarah-Ann Sumner has studied wasps for 25 years. She's even written a book about why we should love them more. Today she's taking me to investigate a wasp nest that's been found in a garden shed. So how many wasps are going to be in there?
It's hard to say, but it's still very early. So I would say maybe 1,000, 2,000 max. So wasps are nature's pest controllers. They hunt other insects. So, for example, the caterpillars that eat your cabbages or the aphids on your tomato plants. And so a world without wasps would mean that we'd have to use a lot more, other ways to control these insects, which often would be pesticides. So wasps are kind of our route towards a much more sustainable, environmentally friendly way of controlling insect pests.
There are some 7,000 species of wasps in the UK. As well as their pest control work, the creatures play an important role as pollinators.
This is a nest from a tree wasp.
Only a handful of wasp species are social ones. They're the sort that annoy picnickers in the late summer.
That's when usually the nest comes to an end and there's no larvae to feed anymore, and the larvae usually gives them a sugary reward, so that they're a little bit hungry, a little bit bored, and that's also the time when we are outside having a nice picnic. So it just coincides and the timing is wrong.
If you do have a close encounter with a wasp, the advice is not to wave your arms or shout. Both actions can make it think you're a predator. There's still a lot to be discovered about wasps. In fact, this nest is set to be rehomed, so the creatures and their behaviour can be studied more closely, and perhaps help us all to learn to love wasps just a little bit more. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.
Oh, I'm not sure about wasps. Have you been stung by one, Kerry?
I've never been stung by a wasp, but I got stung in primary school by a hornet, and it was awful.
Oh, that's worse.
I've still got trauma from it.
How about you?
I was stung through candy floss by a wasp on the hooter, which
no.
put me off both wasps and candy floss.
Oh, I'm not keen on candy floss or wasps
or
moths.
Oh.
Moths. They're furry and scary, especially if they're big. Like this. Imagine this coming towards you. A hummingbird hawk moth. A big thank you to Roy Briggs for sharing. It looks beautiful from a distance. Honestly, I just think because they're like just furry butterflies, aren't they?
Flower looks like candy floss.
Yeah, these are cute though. These are moths. They look more like butterflies. It's a 6-spot burnet moth. A big thank you to Ian Wilson. Counted no less than 11 there on what I think is a blue button wildflower. So you need one of those if you want 11 or more 6-spot burnet moths. It was nice today, wasn't it? It felt like summer.
It was
really
warm.
Nice. Yeah. It was a little bit humid, but plenty of blue sky. John Lawrence was at Headingley, and Sally C was at Lidget Lane Allotments, or that is her view across Lidget Lane Allotments with those beautiful fair weather skies. And we got highs between 25 and 29 in Hull today, so that's around 5 to 8 degrees above what we'd expect for the time of year.
But there's a but, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm working up to the but, aren't I? I talked about it yesterday. We've now got a Met Office weather warning, no surprises for tomorrow. It's quite a broad brush one. It covers all of our region currently. I imagine it will get tweaked tomorrow. There's a risk, not for us all, but of those thunderstorms. So expect tomorrow, be aware, be prepared that there could be some large hail, frequent lightning, thunder, gusty winds and locally heavy rain, a couple of inches out of heavy downpours, but not for everybody. And I imagine it possibly could go to amber tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks,
Rain
Kerry.
is coming.
We were warned.
Next tonight, another epic fundraising challenge is underway to raise awareness of motor neurone disease.
Yes, that's right. Ian Flatt, who we've met on this programme, many times, was diagnosed with MND back in 2019. Well, since he's become a tireless campaigner into the condition.
He certainly has. He's already climbed Mount Snowdon to raise thousands of pounds, and he completed the Rob Burrow Marathon.
Well, his latest challenge will see him trek 100 miles through the Yorkshire Dales in 10 days. Arif Ahmed caught up with him in Paisley Bridge.
It's a gorgeous day here in Nidderdale, the perfect weather for a walk, and that's exactly what Ian Flatt and his team have just done. They've just completed the first of their 10-day, 100-mile trek through the Dales, raising money for M&D charities and for the Rob Burrow Centre in Leeds. I'm pleased to say we can speak to Ian now, fresh from completing this first day. Ian, 8 miles down, how was it?
It was brilliant. It was so nice today. Great company, great walk. And fabulous sunshine.
And why is it so important for you to do challenges like this?
Just nice to show people that we can contribute, we can raise money, we can celebrate our efforts and achievements. And all of us can do something to enjoy the day, enjoy the time, to get out and do things like this.
When Ian gets something in his head like this, there's no stopping him, is there?
Oh no, there never has been. I mean, that's no different to now. He told me Snowdon was the last one. No one believed him. The trilogy, it just made sense. Made perfect sense.
Yeah, it did, and that's the beauty of this. Is it makes sense. There's a synergy about it. You know, let's do this. Let's do this for the Rob Borough M&D Centre, and let's enjoy it. Let's just have some fun.
Well, thanks very much for joining us. Good luck for the rest of the challenge. One day done, 9 more to go.
And good luck to Ian for all the rest.
Now, finally, a sprinkling of Hollywood stardust that's been helping a heritage railway in North Yorkshire get back on track.
Yes, the latest film in the Indiana Jones franchise recently hit the silver screen across the UK. But did you know that the latest adventures of the daredevil archaeologists were actually filmed in our region?
Yes, the North Yorkshire Moors Railway was chosen by those behind the motion picture, and its benefits are already being felt, as Jonathan Brown's been finding out.
It's a high-octane adventure story that's been entertaining cinema-goers for more than 40 years. Starring Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones's good versus evil battles have taken place around the globe. But in his latest epic, Indy's quest to wrestle the dial of destiny from a Nazi scientist saw directors take what you might call the scenic route. The picturesque surroundings of the Pickering to Whitby line, to be more precise.
I think to a certain extent you can say that Indiana Jones has come to our rescue.
In the midst of the pandemic in the spring of 2021, a 600-strong film crew descended on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway, bringing with them a cash boost and a few challenges.
It was great, it was all done at night, we had to close the railway. They asked me why we had to close the railway. I said, because you painted swastikas on the side of all our trains, which is a bit of a clue as to why we couldn't run it. You know, it was instrumental probably in our survival through that period.
Gotta get there first.
I can't do that! You want to stop for a little lie down?
And the big-budget spectacular, which recently debuted in UK cinemas, wasn't the only silver screen production to come to town.
Welcome to North Yorkshire, Tom.
Thank you. Hello, you're all beautiful here.
Tom Cruise and the Mission Impossible franchise were there just weeks earlier. And for those tasked with linking a Hollywood wish list with real-life filming locations, the appeal is obvious.
The scenery is spectacular. That's what drew us there. You know, we had very specific topography that we needed at the side of the tracks. And then, you know, once we brought our director there, he was sold on North York.
Stoking up extra income, people here say, is much needed. Finances have been put under pressure by rising energy bills and a tripling of the cost of coal.
What do you think of the fact that Indiana Jones was here not too long ago?
Like, crazy.
It's a bit surreal to think that, you know, people are making films on here.
It's amazing. It really is. To get to see it in real life.
It's quaint and old-fashioned, and they probably have got nothing like that in America.
So while Indy's box office big hitter passed through our region long ago, it's hoped the whip-cracking archaeologists' impact on this relic of a bygone age is felt long into the future. Jonathan Brown, ITV News, Pickering.
That's great, isn't it? Can you imagine? You're the boss of the railway and say, can we bring in Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Hollywood on the phone.
Yeah, OK.
Yeah. Here's Kerry now with some weather.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yes, hello again. Whether you were in the city today, like Gavin Sheesmith in Leeds, or whether you were in the countryside in Derbyshire, like Stuart Slynn, we did okay today. Plenty of blue sky, just some fair weather cloud bubbling up for the middle part of the day, and anything more active staying further north and west of the UK. So as we head deeper into this evening and overnight tonight, in terms of weather conditions, we stay dry and clear. Still quite breezy, but yes, already today we noticed that warm south to southeasterly breeze, and that will continue, if not pep up a little bit over overnight tonight, but it just drags in the humidity as we head through into the early hours of Saturday. A very close night for sleeping, uncomfortable for some, certainly for towns and cities, not much lower than 17 or 18 Celsius. 4:46 and 9:36 are you sometimes as we head into the weekend. Could be a sunny start tomorrow, breezy, warm to hot for the start of the day, but you can see those showers starting to develop very quickly from the word go, and they could be heavy and thundery and create surface water spray and tricky driving conditions. The Met Office weather warning for thunderstorms is in place for much of the day from 9 a.m. Temperature-wise, certainly in the morning we're looking at the high 20s, maybe knocking on the door of 30, but further thunderstorms ahead of a cold front are going to work their way in for the evening. That could pep up the showers once more, but behind that, much fresher conditions as we head into Sunday. So for Sunday, there will be some cloud around. There'll also be some sunny spells, temperatures just above the average for the time of year. A few scattered showers, but we are expecting the showers to be a little bit more developed as we head into Monday and Tuesday. So a fresher feel as we head into next week. Monday and Tuesday, mix of sunny spells and showery outbreaks, and the winds a little lighter too.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
There are over 270 species of bee in Britain, and this is just one of them. Grass pollen is between moderate and high into the weekend. Take care, see you soon. There you go. I do love a bee more than I love a wasp.
I think everyone does. Yeah, she has. Well, there won't be any wasps around on Saturday because it's going to be raining, isn't it?
Oh, well, there you go. Listen, that's it from us. I'm back at 10:30 tonight. Lucrezia Millerini is next. We will see you later. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye from all of us.
Bye.